Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Deborah and today I'm going to do something with this little mini 6x6 pad. This is a 13 arts pad called Vintage Moments and it's got a variety of paper in it. I've had it for a while and I think it's got 24 sheets. There you go. So I need to do something with it because it's single-sided, so I don't think that I can use it as a journal page, although I could, because I guess you're getting that writing part on the side of it. But I thought it might be nice to make some pockets and envelopes and things like that out of it, because it's ever so cute. And you can see there's a variety from reds to greens. It's got lots and lots of different papers. There's even a pretty one on the back. So I thought I'd start just by, I guess, trying to make an envelope as a starting point. So the plan is, I've got this in a big paper, or some of this in a big paper as well, but the plan is to make some envelopes and some pockets and things and then put them aside and then bring them together in a journal or multiple journals, not really sure yet. So I'm just got my We Are Memory Keepers envelope punch board out, and I'm looking for a 6x6 paper size, and I think it is telling me I have to score at 2 3/8. Seriously, you need a magnifying glass almost for these. They're so hard to see. I think I'm going to go with the 2 5/8. Yep, that'll have to do. So scoring at 2 5/8 is the first one, and then flipping it round. Remember, if you've got an envelope punch board, you only have to score the first one using the measurements. The rest are scored off this piece here that pushes, sticks out. And I think I've got a whole video on that actually. Now that doesn't look like it's, oh yeah, oh okay. So what I've forgotten to do, because it's been so long since I've used this, is do the punch bit. So let's try that and it might look good. Oh, it's a bit stuck now. I don't know what I've managed to get there, but it's definitely stuck. And I think that if I go in here, I should just be able to pull this bit out. There you go. It must have been the dodgy way that I did it, or maybe the paper is a bit thin. The paper's not terribly thick. Oh no, it was just the dodgy way that I did it. Never mind, we'll do it correctly this time. If you forget, you can always go back and punch them out like I did. Alright, so because these are white, as I said inside, they're only single-sided, they will make ideal envelopes. So that's a good way to use a 6x6, because you get this quite a nice size too in the envelope. Oh, up the other way, I think I'm going to do it. So with this one, it's going to be a cute little envelope, and I can make something out of it then. But as usual, I'll have to do something about that because I don't like that. I'll put it here and just hopefully can get it fairly correct in terms of where I want it. That's not too bad. Okay, so now all I have to do is glue that down. And then I think with this one, I could do a pocket. I'm just looking at what I could do. So if I score like down there and down there, and then fold it up as a pocket. Now I'm being super lazy and not going to my scoring board. I'm just using the score line that's on the envelope punch board, which is, you probably shouldn't do this, but I'm just eyeballing it and hoping for the best. That's looking all right so far. And then I just need another side. I'm not necessarily going to have a back that's enclosed. It's just going to come in like this. If I get my scissors and trim this out, just slightly off where I've scored it, And then over again, I might have to take a little bit more off that one. I was a bit skimpy. Yes. And also I want to trim these edges just a little bit, so that when that goes back there, you're not going to see the edges around. Now obviously this needs to go on top of something. You can't have that freestanding because I haven't enclosed the back. And the other thing I want to do is get my punches, or at least one. Grab my punch here, and also I need to measure, because I'm not sure how wide I made this, about 3.5 inches. Yep, almost 3.5 inches perfectly. Make a mark at the, so 3.5 is 1.5, 1 3/4 mark. So that's about there. And then I can do a little notch. So, and I've got a nice little pocket there now. So far a pocket and an envelope. Let's see what else I can do. Now with this one I'm going to cut it off a little bit. So I probably want to cut the bottom bit off, maybe, so it's 6 inches, so probably cut the bottom bit off 2 inches. So I've got a 4-inch piece left. And then with this 4-inch piece, I think I'm going to fold it over just so it's not quite at the edge. I'm leaving maybe a little bit less than 1/2 inch there, I think. And then because I want to fold that now, it's going to be a bit hard. I'll put it on my score tool, my envelope punch board here. And I'm lining that edge of the paper up with the score line on the punch board, so that I can get a little tiny fold on it. Otherwise it makes it quite difficult. And then along the bottom I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm just lining it up best I can and scoring it along here. So what I'm hoping to do is to fold this up into a little pocket. Now, as many of you know, I was talking a while ago about trying to get a bus so I could go travelling. I don't want to get a caravan. I'm not a fan of towing a van. Not that I've ever done it, but I just don't know. I just don't want to anyway. So I was looking at getting a bus, and my husband wasn't too keen on the idea. I can tell you he was less than impressed when I suggested maybe we could get a bus. However, we have been talking about it a little bit, to the point that I think that we probably will be getting one. I can't measure that, I'm just going to eyeball that. And instead of getting a big bus, which is initially what I thought I wanted, we're now going to get a little bus. So I've been looking at little buses and having it fitted out, or fitting it out ourselves, although we're not terribly handy. You might have to pay someone to fit it out for me, I think. Simply because there's no travelling from Australia. We know now it's at least until mid next year, 2022. And I don't really want to go anywhere where I have to, you know, possibly have a problem if we're in a hotel or something. And so that's why I thought that a bus might be the way to go. I don't know if it's going to work that way, but we'll soon find out, hopefully. Well, not soon, because it's going to take a while. I've lost my little tool. There it is. I'll just put some glue on there. I'm just burnishing that now so it'll sit down. And then, hopefully, we can get some sort of a bus for ourselves. Now I want to put a bit in there, which I should have done before I stuck it down. I know that, I'm a bit late. Probably this side, because it's got some stuff on top of it. I'll just make a mark. And I am hoping that it comes to fruition. And I'm thinking it probably will at this point. We've been having our discussion about what we might get, and we've settled on what we think we want, but of course now we have to go look for something. Let's put that in there. Probably should have put a different colour in so that it's a bit more contrasty, but I haven't done that. And because I haven't put this down, I have to now squeeze some glue in there. Yeah, so it's all very exciting. I've been doing diagrams and planning. That's what I like to do. That's why I like to travel. Normally if we go overseas, we try and go for a while so that we can take our time. So there you go. I've got a little pocket in there now. And because it's pretty on the back, I don't think I'm going to stick that down. I might just pop that in something. Anyway, let's move on. Yeah, so because we normally go for a while when we're away, and now we can't go, it's more about doing something. Because, you know, I've hardly left the house for the last year, more than a year, probably since February. In fact, before that, because I was sick, so probably since we came back in October, November 2019, I haven't really been out that much because of the issues with COVID and my own health. So I'm thinking it might be nice to get a bus and go travelling, at least in Australia. And you can, because we'd be self-contained, I think it would be much better. This is a pretty paper, isn't it? What will I do with this one? Try and think of a way to make another pocket or something, I think. Actually, what I might do is I might put it on here and cut it down. So if I cut that down, cut the top of this off, say 2.5 inches seems like a good depth for a pocket. There you go. And then this one here, I'll cut this to say 4 inches, so I'll cut 2 inches off the top. I'll cut 2 inches off the top. This cutter is getting a bit old, that's why I've got a bit of raggedy edge there, but it'll still fit. And then because I think that that's going to be too big, I think I have to make 2 tiny little ones. So if I cut this at the 3 inches now, cut this down, and I'll make 2 little ones that are the same. Okay, so I'll need to get a gusset or something. Definitely need gussets with this one. Probably cut this in half, so that'll be the 1 inch. And again, I'll use my envelope punch board as a mini scoreboard to score these bits in half to make my gussets. So yes, I know that a couple of you travel, and I have to have a craft room in my bus. Even if it's a little bus, I'm still going to put a craft room in it. But I thought that might be fun. Don't know, maybe it won't be. We like to travel when we go away overseas. We do a lot of walking and we usually backpack and things like that. But I don't know how we'll go travelling in a bus. I guess if it comes to fruition, we will find out. I'm just cutting the gussets down so that they're the right size, and then mite at the edge there. So yes, do you have a bus or a van? And if so, what are the pros and cons, I wonder? So I think one of the things would be that you're not going to get the amount of space, clearly. I'm not going to have a craft room the size of my craft room now. I do know that. My husband thinks that I'll miss it too much, but we're not going to go away, you know, for a year or anything like that, simply because he is still working. But like even if we just went for the weekend, or we went for, you know, a little jaunt somewhere for a week or longer, he could take some leave. I think it would be fun. And then I think that that's what we might do. We're still having our discussions about it at the moment, although he is getting interested. My sister's buying a van, or she has bought a van. She hasn't got it yet. She's getting it in a couple of months. It's being built, but we were talking with them on the weekend, and I think that, you know, there was certainly a spark of interest there, which was lovely. And Australia is such an amazing place. There's so many places to go. I mean, we're not the US, we're never going to be that big. But even within the places that we've got, you know, there's so many places to go, and also so many places to go where there's no great accommodation. I told him I'm not going to stay in a pub. My days of things like that are over. I don't want to do that anymore. Yeah, so I've made that little gusset on that pocket, and I can pop it on here. It's quite cute. Let's pop it down. So I've been designing and working out how much space I need for my craft room, because of course with the bus it would be limited in how much space I've got. That's why I wanted to get a really big bus at first, like a 12 metre, or in feet that would be 40 feet, just over 12 metres. But of course I realise now that that's not realistic and it's not going to happen, so I may as well not think about that, because it won't be something I'll be able to do. Now I've got this little pocket, just digressing back to my craft, and I thought maybe I could cut a little tag to put in it, because this back cover is really pretty, and so if I get sort of cut there, I can do a little tag, or even if it's not for that pocket, maybe for some other pieces within the pockets or whatever I'm going to make today. I've got a bit on that side, and that's got to be about 2.5 inches. Oh, 2 inches, there we go. And then I've got a bit on this side, so maybe they're a bit small for this particular pocket. Oh no, that'll be okay, I just have to cut it down. But the other thing, I just thought that with this, which is 2 inches wide, I'm just going to create some more gussets with it. Yes, and of course we would need a shower. I've been doing a lot of research, and from what I see, there are a lot of people who don't have a shower in their bus or their van. But because I think that they're young people who, I think they go to the gym and things like that to shower, whereas, you know, I'd want a shower on tap, as it were. So yeah, that's not going to waste any of that paper then. Good, excellent. And I think I'll cut these to 3 inches. And then make a tag out of them. And what I mean by make a tag is just put some notches, cut some corners off there. Make sure I'm up the right way. Because these are only little, but they're white on the back, so really good for journaling. So I could do 2 little tags, and as I said, this one, I'll have to put a little something on the top of it, but this one actually fits in there really well. So I could put a little eyelet on that and pop that in. I guess that's one thing to do. I'll put the other one in here for now too. So I've got 2 tags in there. And of course you could just use this as a long tag. You could leave it this length. That would be good too. It's a bit funny where the glue at the top of the paper is, so I will trim it slightly. I have noticed that as I've been taking this apart, you're getting a bit of that roughness from the glue, but ever so pretty and quite different. These ones are quite different. Maybe I'll just leave this as a long, actually I won't cut it because that could also be belly band, so I'll put that into the pile as something like that. Now with this one, I am going to put a little notch in here. In fact, I'll use the notch that's on here, because you don't have to just use this to punch your notches for your envelope. It's actually got a really good notch shape. I put that on there, you can see. It's a really nice little shape there for that as well. And of course the other thing that I think that I would want in the van is a washing machine. And I do know that you can get little teeny ones. I think my sister's getting a little one in her van. But, you know, I don't want to be washing every day, and I certainly don't want to go to laundromats. And when we're overseas, we go to the laundromats because you have no choice. And you don't have to go that often. But with this, I guess if we're only going away for, you know, the weekend, we wouldn't use it. But if we were going away for longer than that, then I guess we could just use that. I might cut this down to make, oh no, I've got that other bit. I'll use these. Let's use this as a gusset piece. Yeah, so I'm thinking a washing machine. I don't know what they're like. No idea, but, and also, I was wanting to put a dishwasher in, but I think that's probably going, that's a bridge too far really, isn't it? I know, I think I'll probably get eye rolled if I start talking about wanting to put a dishwasher into the bus. If it's a big bus, I'd definitely put a dishwasher in, but a little bus, you know, there's not going to be much space. And I think I'll sacrifice the dishwasher to get the craft room, or at least, you know, a long table where I can craft. And not so much, I mean, I craft in a fairly small space now that I've moved my room around, and it's not really the table for the actual, you know, work surface here. That's fine. The problem is all the stuff that I tend to just keep pushing back when I've finished something and, you know, moving on. I should put things away a bit more, shouldn't I? Yep. It's always a problem. I do try, but, you know, then I sort of think of another idea and the idea takes over and the tidy up sort of gets put aside. Now with this one, I think I'm going to sort of divide this into 3, and then I can make it into like a journaling spot. Let me just see if I can, so it's 6 inches wide, this one. If I just make a score there, and then if I score here, and now I've got something that opens up, so I could stick this down onto the journal and have this as a piece that opens up. Now, because I haven't put that over far enough, I think I'm going to have to put something down there because I'm not liking that white edge very much. Probably get some washi or something, or use it like this. That's not long enough. What I'll do is I'll cut down this gusset I made, and I'm going to put it down on the fold, and then when I stick this into a journal, I'll stick the back down so you won't see the reverse part of the gusset. You'll only see this, and it'll be a bit of a decorative edge, and it'll also hide that white spot that I'm not loving. And the other thing is when I stick this down, it'll hide the branding that's on there, because I've put it on there and put it upside down, not that it matters. Probably could turn that around. And now I've hidden that little white area that I had there. So this would go down on the journal. I'll just put an X so I remember. And this opens up. So if I put this around here, and I need some double-sided tape. See, that's the good thing perhaps about not putting things away all the time, so you can get them back and use them in the next project. Let's put this here. I need enough to tie it. I don't want to be too skimpy with it. So that's going to be the back. And then this is going to tie up here. The other thing I like about maybe doing this bus, or I should say definitely because I really want to do it, is that I can travel around and shop at different places. I can see Australia too, but you know, we can go to different little towns and see what they've got in their op shops and things. You never know, they might have really good things in their op shops. Don't know, haven't really done that. That's quite cute, isn't it? I've got a little fold out thing there with a bow on it. I'll put that one over there. see what else we've got in our paper pad. Oh, look at this, very pretty. That's lovely. It's kind of got some plains and some darks in it. Now, I'm folding it down just randomly to find a point of some sort. And again, because this is only a 6 by 6, I'm going to cut this in half. So I'll cut it at 3 inches. So I've got 2 like that now. And I will find that other bit that I had in the pretty green. Because I want to make like a pocket thing out of this as well. So when you fold it up or unfold it like that, you can see you've got the thing there. And I'm wondering if I should turn it around and put it here. And then put another piece on the top part here. Maybe I should do that because that might look nicer. I'll have to make a little journal, maybe a little mini journal would look cute with all this in it. Actually, what I'm going to do is just work out where this has got to go. I actually want to put it under there. So I put it under there. It's going to have, it's not going to get in the way when I pull this down. And I'll make some sort of a paper clip holder thing for it, I think. That's what I'll do. I'll just measure this. What have I got that? About 2.5 inches. Okay, so I'm going to cut this at the 2.5 inch. And then at the, probably won't cut it at the 3 inch actually. Yeah, I will cut it at 3 inches. I was just testing to see if I wanted to. And then I'll make a couple of gussets with these. So I'll make a couple of 1 inch gussets. Yep. And then of course the question would be, if we did have a van, where would we go? So I live in Queensland, in Brisbane, and there's really not, well, there are a lot of places you can go from here, but they're all sort of coast. You can go up the coast or down the coast. And I'm not really a beach person, so it doesn't really appeal to me, but I could go up into the hinterland or down into the hinterland or even further than that. I could go up to Maryborough or Gympie or Bundaberg, which are all higher, not for the weekend. I couldn't go there for the weekend. But also, what appeals to me is that when it's really, really hot, because Brisbane gets extremely hot, that I can travel away from that heat, even if it means going over to Tasmania. And of course you can go to Tassie with a car or a van or a bus, because there is a boat that you can catch across Bass Strait, the Spirit of Australia. And I went on it once when I was very, very young, as in adult, young. And I'll tell you, it's actually on my first honeymoon. So I was 20 and we had to catch the boat to Tasmania because neither of us was old enough to rent a car. He was 20 as well, so we had to catch the boat and take our car. And I just remember that it was very rough crossing and we didn't feel very well. So, but I'm sure that things have improved since then. Maybe not. I haven't been on it, like I said, so that's 44 years since I've been on the Spirit of Australia. But I do know it still runs, because last year for a while they had take your car for free, because it's very hard to get a rental car in Tasmania. Even now it's extremely difficult. Now that comes down there, and I'm wondering if I can put this piece on top of that. Probably not. I'll have to cut or use another piece. Maybe I could use that bit. That's going to fit really well, isn't it? Yeah, I'll put that down. So there you go. There's apparently there's rental car shortages all over the place because people are travelling within Australia, and because we travel overseas as a nation so much, it's quite difficult to maintain the rental cars here in Australia. I'll just pop that on there, and I want to fold it up. I need to cut this edge off. It's just a little bit too big. Pretty good, but just a tiny bit too big, so I'll freehand cut this. That's quite sweet. I can still journal on there, and I should try and make another little tag, shouldn't I? Maybe with this one. So I need about a 2.5 inch tag. And in terms of height, probably 3.5 inches would be good. Just clip these edges just very gently. So of course we could go to Tasmania during the summer months. Look at that. I think that's quite sweet. Now this is the other side of that, so I'm going to mix it up. That won't fit, but what I can do is I can put this down here and make this the pocket, the other half of it. So this one is a flip up, so you've got extra little space there, but this one I can make just put this on here and make a pocket. I have to chop that. That's a problem again where I've, you know, the top of the page. Now I want to see where I have to put the glue before I cut it. I'll just make a mark, and then I know where the glue's got to go. So I'll put a mark down the bottom. Of course we don't have any animals or anything, so there's no problem with us just packing up and leaving, except for the children, the adults, but I'm sure they'll be fine. They're reasonably self-sufficient now. At their age they should be. Chop that off, and then I need to get my gusset pieces. Did I use them all? Oh no, here's one here. So I'm just going to cut this in half. You don't need to have a full piece necessarily for the gusset. It doesn't have to go all the way along. It can just be a little piece like these. As long as it's at the top, it'll be fine. You just need to make sure that you've got it at the top of the piece, because as long as you're not putting anything in here that can fall out, and because you're putting a tag or something in here, it's not going to fall out. It doesn't have to go the whole length of the side. It can just go that far. And then a bit more glue. And that has created a nice little pocket in there. So same but different. Now I need something to go in this little pocket. So again, I think I need to cut a piece that's probably the perfect height. I just need to cut this down at say 2.5 inches. And then trim the edges. hardly doing it at all actually. And that's really cute. Look how cute that is. I've got a little tag in the pocket, ready for a junk journal. Wow, quite happy with that one. What other papers have we got? They do repeat. I think there's 12, yeah, 12 designs. So of course they repeat. This is pretty, this is purple. Quite like that one. I'm looking at what I can do with this one. I'm going to start with a score along the bottom. So I've got the score along the bottom, and then I want to cut and fold this over. I think now I'm going to score this, like if I score it in half, just or not, sort of, it's coming down to meet that. Okay, so that is going to be the top section, and then if I want to really bring this over to the other side as well, but just leave a little white bit like I did before, so I can create the closure. I'm really just lining that up. Not measuring anything today much. Don't feel like measuring today, just feel like kind of moving it along like this. Now if I put this on here, and again use that line of the paper as my guide, and pull this down. So I've created that score line along there, and it's easy to fold. And then see what we're going to do now. So I think I need to cut one of these, definitely. Which one will I cut? This one. Probably, yes. I'm going to cut this one along just below where I've put that score line, I think. And then I need to trim the edges, miter them, and then also miter up the centre. Hopefully this works. Oh yeah, that's going to work. I'm just going to cut a little notch out of that, kind of in the centre, not great, but you know, sort of in the centre. Okay, so this will stick down here. I'm going to tease this open, and I can re-glue it when I'm done this bit. So this will go on here, like that. It'll hide where I've notched that. Yeah, see I've got a little green bit up there now. Just put a bit more glue on so it doesn't come up. Get rid of some of this mess. I've got this darker bit. I could put this down here too. Like on there, couldn't I? To create another pocket. And you know what? There's just enough gusset on the bottom that I can do that. I'm going to have to cut that off as a starting point. So that's going to be the side one, and that's going to be the bottom one. And then because I want to cut a notch in this, I'm going to get my notch, just eyeball that. Yep, about there. Working with little things is quite fiddly, isn't it? But rewarding. If you didn't cut a notch, you wouldn't have to do this, to put something inside. And you don't really have to do it anyway, it's just I like it. I think it makes it look a bit more finished if you tuck something inside like this. got my washi, so now I'm just going to put it down. Just chose a brownie coloured one. I'm sure it'll be fine. I went for a long ride on my bike this morning, and I actually went out to one of the local cemeteries here because I do volunteer to find graves for people for family history purposes, and I rode out to the cemetery and did it. It was good by myself too, and I had to go on a really busy road, and I only nearly got hit by a car once, so that was comforting. I was coming out of the cemetery and I didn't see the car. It came around the corner really quickly from super busy road, but I did stop in time, and he stopped too, and then the bike doesn't have a reverse, but I was on a slope, so I just let it roll back, so I wasn't quite on the road as much as I was, and he went past and gave me a wave. That's cute, isn't it? I like this because if I get this piece that I did before, I hadn't really done much with, I can put that in there as a tall piece, and I can still put a little piece into here, a little tag into here, can't I? What have I got? I've only got this one really. I suppose that would be okay. It's a bit too much the same colour, and it's probably going to get lost if I put it in there because it's quite low. Yeah, I won't use that one, but you can see the concept that I can have a high one here. In fact, that's quite pretty. I'll probably cut it off. So let me just see where I'll cut this. Probably here, I think. And I can get the eyelet setter out later and just go through and set eyelets in these if I wanted to. I don't have to. So I've got that bit in there, which is really pretty. And then here, I'm not sure if I'm going to put anything in there right now. I've got on the table, not much. No, okay. I'll see what else I can put in there. And then you've got a little flap over, so you can put that in, open it up, take your tag out, write on it, have another little tag in there, and then write on that as well. I should try and make something for that, shouldn't I? So what I need in there is about, say, 3 inches by 2.5 inches. Okay, I'll cut another bit of paper and do that. I've still got probably half the paper left, maybe less than half. I think I might have used some of this already. So I've still got some of the paper left anyway. And of course I've got the front cover, and this bit here is really pretty with all the stripes. That's all the different papers, and I like that, so I'm definitely going to use that because it's gorgeous. So that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed that and that you get your 6x6 papers out and have a go at that. And I will see you in the next video. This is Deborah. Cheers.